All right, folks, so we got our latest episode of Wandavision. Wandavision episode 7. Let's talk about it. All right, so I just want to start off by saying I mentioned in like pretty much every other video that I've done that episodes 7, 8, and 9 are each going to be an hour long. I would like to apologize to you if you believe me, because I was wrong, obviously. My contact at Marvel, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I was just wrong. Sorry. And I just want to say something I noticed while watching the recap that I didn't mention last episode was how come Billy, I think is his name, one of the twins, sense Vision's pain when he's, getting sucked out of he's trying to leave the border, but Wanda can't, even though they have oh wait. Can Wanda? Yeah, she can. I was questioning. Wanda can read people's minds, so, right? Has she done that? Whoa. Am I dumb? Okay, whatever. My question stands, or maybe it doesn't. It probably doesn't. All right, anyway, I'm just going to move on. So, obviously, this film is sort of inspired by Modern Family. That is a show, the first show that this film has parodied that I have seen, and, I think it's hilariously executed, and well done. Funny. That's actually funny. You have the kid missing on the milk bottle in the when Wanda goes to get milk. Who is that? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me down in the comments below, because I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I don't know. Interesting detail. Also, in that little intro, you have presumably Vision's writing on the fridge saying, I know what you're doing here. It was like a split second if you're watching, but I just caught it, and I knew I'd have to return to it after watching. And then also in the intro, you have the heart on the 10th in the calendar, which is obviously from the first episode, where they're both wondering what's going on. Is it their anniversary? Is it dinner with Mr. Hart? Brought up again here. Funny reference, funny gag, or is it actually something significant? And then the show says, created by Wanda Maximoff, obviously a reference to her engineering the reality. But is she? No, is the answer, if you've seen that episode, because it gets spoiled at the end, so spoilers. So obviously Wanda says her little line, if you don't want to be here, or if Vision doesn't want to be here, there's nothing I can do about it. Ha ha, because she can. Ha ha. She tells the kids that, Pietro is not her brother, so she knows by this point. And the question is, my question while watching was, what happened to him? Where is he? But then we learn later, don't we? So again, we get more evidence in this episode, in case you weren't already certain, that Wanda really doesn't know much about the reality. She's left in the dark, and she just doesn't know much about it. She has some control over it, but not a lot. What is Agnes's motive in taking the kids? We don't see them at the end after they go to her house. She says they're probably down in the basement, which is where she reveals everything to Wanda. But what, why? Where are the kids? What did she do with them? They're probably not, they're not dead because they're going to be used later. But I actually kind of thought that with that little tense scene at the end there. Where are they? What was her motive? Why did she want them? And then also, why is everything getting messed up? Like Wanda says, why is everything changing between decades like that? I don't know. I really have more questions than answers this time around. I have pretty much no answers. And then Monica and Jimmy mentioned Cataract, which is sort of the sword, seemingly like weapons program with Vision. The question I had posed last video was, why are they tracking Vision? And it's clear because they want their sentient weapon back, their body. I don't know what happens to the body. It's possible Wanda even has to kill it again, brutally. But I'll talk a bit later about how Vision is definitely not going to survive this series. And then I just have to say, what a lame reveal in Goodner, Chief Goodner or whatever. I don't know her name. I don't know her relevance in the comics. I just know that when you set up someone in 2 separate lines, in 2 separate episodes, saying my aerospace engineer friend, it better be someone worth note. It wasn't. Disappointed. I didn't get too hyped up. A lot of people thought it was like Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, stuff like that. I figured it probably wouldn't be. I figured it probably wouldn't be the big cameo that everyone's referencing. But I didn't expect it to be a nobody. And then something I noticed here was that Vision's eyes seem to be very blue in this episode. And, we sort of see a lot of people's eyes are like this. You have Monica. So I'm wondering if they signify superpowers or if they, leaving the reality and going back in. Maybe that's what it signifies, because both Vision and Monica have that in common. But Wanda does too. Maybe Wanda can resist the, whatever effects it has. But I don't know. obviously, so as I mentioned last episode, last review, if you saw, which is up there if you haven't seen it. Hopefully you've watched it by now. But Monica is getting powers. She's being set up to get powers when Darcy says the line about, cells interacting or whatever, cells changing. And Monica has superpowers now. Cool. Then you have the Nexus ad, which makes sense. I feel like last ad still really doesn't make sense, but at least this one makes sense. And it's very, alluded to a lot. You have in the little scene with Agnes and the kids, you have Billy, again, I think is the mind controlling kid. He's on to Agnes, right? Who's the rabbit? The rabbit, Mr. I forget what she calls him. But who is he? Is it Ralph? Is it Mephisto? Which is possibly also Ralph? Probably also Ralph, because Ralph is mentioned again. Ralph will probably get a Ralph reveal next episode because, again, spoiler, Agnes reveals she is Agatha, then controlling everything. Ooh. So who's the rabbit? What's its significance? Is it just a cute little rabbit? No, it's definitely not. Why would you think that? That would make no sense. But that would be nice. That would be very nice. So then as Monica tries to enter the reality here, you have the blue eyes thing, but she also hears Captain Marvel's voice, among many others. Maybe I missed some voices there. Interesting. Captain Marvel's obviously a big influence on her. What happened with them will be explored at a later date. And then, you have Darcy and Vision talking about, Darcy telling Vision, that if nothing else here is real, your love very much is, because Vision doesn't remember anything outside of the reality. It's setting up a very, very tragic goodbye between Wanda and Vision, where Vision realizes that Wanda is just doing this out of grief for missing him, and she loves him. He's going to die when the reality ends, but they both know that it will have to happen. So Vision's not making it out of the series, folks. So now you get to the end of the episode, which is, is pretty much always the craziest part, but specifically here, the neighbors now know about Wanda's powers as she's messing with Monica, unless, the mailman kind of walks off again. So maybe they manipulated to forget about it. But Monica has powers now, as I said, in the last episode called it, they sort of set up Wanda to be the villain because Monica tells Wanda, don't be the villain that Hayward wants you to be, right? Have Hayward be the villain instead, stop this whole thing. But of course, Wanda will be the villain. The show is now setting it up, telling you pretty much directly. And then you have the reveal that Agnes is the villain, the one that we've all been waiting for. She's been acting the whole time. She's great at it. She's been controlling things behind the scenes. People have said, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but people have said that, of course, Agnes is referencing Agatha Harkness, a character from the comics who is a witch who I don't really know her relationship to Vision and Wanda, but she does have one. And here they just straight up went with the name switch. I thought maybe they would just change it to Agnes for the show, but no, they switched it back to Agatha Harkness, and she's controlling everything. She gets her own neat little theme song too.
Who's been messing up everything? It's been Agatha all along.
Now we just have to find in the next episode, the penultimate episode actually is next week. That's crazy to think it's already almost over, but we will see her motives. And then there's actually, if you missed it, there's a mid-credit scene actually this time around, and you have Evan Peters show up again. And I was wondering the whole time where he went, what happened with him, but he's not. He's still Evan Peters. It's not Pietro, but Peter Maximoff. Why does he look like that? Who is he? Is he under control? I'm going to need some answers on that because he's obviously not Pietro Maximoff that we know, and he looks like Peter Maximoff. We will get an explanation for that hopefully next episode because I'm confused. Things are coming to a head. Folks, we're reaching the end. It's been a ride. All right, folks, that's my review of WandaVision Episode 7. There's the playlist up there if you haven't seen my other reviews / recaps. And next week, penultimate episode, only 2 to go. And wow. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.